ladies and gentlemen, your captain speaking on flight deck. My name is Captain Surinder Singh. Welcome aboard the plane talking. Sit back, relax, and enjoy your journey. So, in the first class, we saw declared distances, correct, Tora, Toda, Asda. Then we saw various speeds. Now, this is again one of the very important class. And in the continuation of the topic, aircraft performance, which we are continuing. Okay. Yes, like I said, for your examination, whether it is your airline entrance, CPL, ATPL, every day you will use this topic. So absolute, like if you look at as a pilot, all those speeds are very simple and all those speeds make sense. You don't need to remember them. All you need to do is take a pen and paper, keep recalling them. You will do 10-15 times. That will remain all your lifetime with you. Okay, but if you keep reading that, nothing will happen. Because trust me, the only way to learn those speeds is take a blank paper and see how much you can recall. And think you are a pilot logically, and you will find everything will fall into place. When you will do the test paper, that's what you will see. Okay, which of the following is the sequence, and you will find in different order those speeds are given. But if you try to learn as a pilot, you will find it is actually fun. You don't need any extra effort for this. Similarly, this is the procedure which is valid for any aircraft which you will fly. Even in civil, I have flown 5 types of aircraft. I have switched from one aeroplane to other aeroplane in the simulator or something. I had never found any problem. Okay, because normally one of the major exercise when you will do your type rating, it will start with V1 cuts like I told you. Okay, at V1, instructor will give you engine failure. Okay, so then your handling skill, everything comes into practice. Similarly, this is the thing which is valid for any aircraft. Like I said, all these rules and regulations are made for category of aircraft, not type of aircraft. You have class A, B, C, you will not go into that. Basically, you have a multi-engine aircraft, turboprop, or twin-engine aircraft, or a 3-engine. So it really doesn't matter if it's a twin-engine aircraft, whether it is by Boeing or Airbus, the regulations are same. There is no difference in that. The performance requirements are same. Similarly, this is the takeoff segment. Okay, basically the performance in case of engine failure. What is the procedure practically you do? But again, it is certified as per regulatory requirement. Okay, now let's continue from where we finished. We finished aircraft was at 35 feet screen height at the speed of V2 with one engine failed. Correct? That's what we saw in the last class. So you took off after V1, you continue with the takeoff and you reach the height of screen height 35 feet. Your landing gears are down, one engine is failed, and your thrust is at the takeoff thrust, maximum which you will use. Okay, now your engine is failed. Imagine you have just lifted up from the ground 35 feet. What is your first priority? Any guess? कि आपकी first priority क्या है? आपका एक engine fail हो चुका है and you have crossed your V1 and you are continuing with the takeoff. What is your first priority?
Sir, declare Mayday.
Declare Mayday. Why?
Sir, engine failure.
Okay. Engine failure is not Mayday. Okay. We will study again in regulations. Somebody gave a wrong call. अभी कुछ हुआ था. Last week हुआ था. They gave a wrong call. It's never a Mayday. It is a pan call. Engine aircraft is fully flyworthy with one engine less. So it is definitely not a Mayday call. He gave a wrong call, by the way. I think last week one engine failure took place and they gave a wrong call of Mayday. Okay, we will study in regulation. You have written topic difference between distress and urgency. One is Mayday and one is pan. We will see that. What are the conditions? RT may, this is one of the thing. Okay, yeah. Any other guess? What he said is absolutely right. My first priority is to maintain the direction. Everything is secondary. Call can wait, mayday can wait, landing gear can wait, drag can wait, everything can wait. So your first priority is to maintain the direction, and that's what you do. Okay, by giving the opposite rudder, and if required, a bank maximum of 5 degrees to maintain the direction. That is your first aim. Okay, so what you said is absolutely right. So now 35 feet, you're going further up. Now what all you said, it will fall into place one by one. Okay, for that purpose, this takeoff segments are divided into 4 parts in any aircraft in the world when you fly. After doing this, I will show you for A322. What we studied is you can match everything. Boeing, you can match everything. Chalo, now you're climbing. So your first segment starts at 35 feet, where your takeoff is completed. Now you have to climb away. Direction control over, you have to quickly climb away. Now to stop your climb or to restrict your climb, there are 2 things which are affecting. One, somebody rightly said landing gear. Okay, because landing gear is producing a lot of drag. You can't climb. And I told you, your climb angle is thrust minus drag by weight. So if your drag is more, obviously your climb angle will be affected. Okay, so your aim is to reduce drag. And that's why you're close to ground, 2 things. One is landing gear and the second is flaps. Flaps is giving you increase in lift. So that's why the moment you get a positive climb or positive rate of climb means aircraft is climbing, you select your landing gear up. That's what is the call. Okay, positive rate or positive climb, depending upon the aircraft you're flying, gear up. So one source of drag you have removed. Those who have studied technical, the job of flaps is over the moment you have lifted up. Remember those who have done principle of flight, that time we saw flaps job is over the moment aircraft is lifted off the runway. Now they are just source of drag. Okay, a lot of people live with this misnomer, the flaps give you lift. Yes, you see this trailing edges, something comes out before takeoff and landing se pehle nikalte hai, those are called flaps. They increase the lift. But at the same time, the increase in drag is much more. Okay, imagine you're flying, you take out something, what will happen? Let's say you're moving your hand like this and you take out something extra. It will increase your drag. So exactly like this. So the purpose of flap actually gets over the moment you are lifted up to give you shorter takeoff run. Now they are source of drag, but close to ground, you cannot retract it, because if you retract close to ground, what will happen? Aircraft will sink. You are very close to ground. Lift bhi to kam hogi. Your lift is also lesser. So you don't want to retract your flaps close to ground. So for all the aircraft, manufacturers tell you minimum safe height from the ground at which you should retract your flaps. You fly Cessna or small aircraft, training aircraft, it is 200 feet minimum. That is considered safe. The 200 feet, even if there is a loss of lift, you can retract your flaps. All those who have flown Cessna, you wait for 200 feet before you retract flaps anywhere in the world. Correct? All the bigger aircraft, this is considered as 400 feet minimum. Okay, at 400 feet, you can retract, not before that. So if I'm a multi-engine aircraft, twin-engine aircraft, a bigger aircraft, you have to climb quickly to 400 feet, because after retracting your landing gear, your priority is to reach 400 feet. That is one. And the secondly is to increase to the speed where you can retract your flaps, because again, it's a technical subject. All those who have done instrument, we saw a flap, you saw that white arc, green arc. So the stalling speed increases if you don't have flaps. Means, okay, to tell you, simplify the whole thing, if you are lowering the flaps, you can fly the aircraft to a lower speed. Okay, because you need to lift the weight of aircraft. If the aircraft is flying, lift, CL, half rho v square, as this is everything for us as a pilot. Everything revolves around this. Rho is density, v is the speed. More speed means more lift means more weight, whichever way you want to interpret it. Okay. CL is coefficient of lift. When you say CL, it's a constant. Something like that you can say for the wing. Now, how much maximum lift it can produce? That will vary. When you use the flap, your CL will increase, coefficient of lift will increase. So if the coefficient of lift is increased, if your weight is same and lift is same, you can reduce your speed. You can fly with a lower speed. But if you don't have flaps, you have to fly at higher speed. So that's why what is called the minimum speed which you can fly, it is stalling speed, correct? So if you don't have flaps, you have to fly at higher speed. So you can't immediately retract flaps even at 400 feet. You can't say, okay, 400 flaps up. You can't do that because still you have to come to the speed where you can retract the flaps. Those who have done instruments, we saw green arc or white arc. Okay, so you have to come into the green arc positively, means basically you have to increase your speed to retract your flaps so that aircraft is flyworthy. Okay, so I cannot retract my flaps. So my first segment starts at 35 feet from the ground. Okay, and the moment you see the positive rate of climb, aircraft is climbing away from the ground, you say gear up. Now when you say gear up means obviously your drag is reduced till your landing gear goes up. Okay, your landing gears were down till landing gear goes up. So from 35 feet till your landing gears are retracted. This is called first segment. Okay. Very, very, very important for you. From like takeoff, it's completed at 35 feet till your landing gears are retracted. That is the first segment. Now, what is the aircraft configuration? One engine less, landing gears are retracted, flaps are still down, and one engine is less, and you are at takeoff thrust. Correct? So the moment your landing gears are retracted, that's where the second segment start. Your major source of drag is gone up. Correct. So you require a minimum climb gradient, which we will see how much it is there. Means, let's say if I am making an aeroplane, I have to certify all these things. So you need a climb gradient. Remember difference between gradient and angle. You have to maintain climb gradient, which is 2.4%, means the vertical distance will be 2.4% of horizontal distance. It is not an angle. It's important. You will see in almost every exam in your life. Okay, for twin engine aircraft, so from the landing gear going up. Now you are climbing with one engine lesser to minimum. How much you have to climb to? 400 feet. So till you reach height of 400 feet, this is your second segment. Okay, and this aircraft is climbing with landing gear retracted, flaps down, one engine less in takeoff thrust. Correct? Now, here at 400 feet, this segment will be completed. So that is your second segment. You have a lot of questions. So, okay, in any aircraft, it is like this. Okay, now, see, you can do one thing. Either you can climb or you can accelerate. If we have one engine less, your thrust produces less. So what is my priority close to ground? Get away. Now my priority is when you reach at the safe height is to accelerate to what? Your flap retraction speed first. That is my first priority. So you level out. The moment aircraft levels out at 400 feet, okay, your second segment is over. So first segment from 35 feet till landing gear retraction. Second segment from landing gear retraction till 400 feet. Now, this is also called acceleration segment. All are questioned in your life. whichever, like I said, aircraft. This is called acceleration segment because here you will accelerate to your final climb speed. Up tak the speed which you are maintaining, the speed right till now you are maintaining V2 minimum, at least V2 plus 5, V2 plus 10, that depends upon the aircraft. But the minimum you are maintaining V2. Correct. This is now your priority at this segment is accelerate to flap retraction speed. Okay, retract your flaps and then accelerate to final climb speed. Okay. So, and there are three things here. First is accelerate, as such you're accelerating. Retract flaps. So your flaps are retracted. Second source of drag is over. The aircraft is level. It is continue accelerating with 1 inch and less. You accelerate to final takeoff speed, or in simple term, what we refer it as Vx. This Vx speed is very good. Best angle of climb speed. In ASI, those who studied ASI, I showed you that in a multi-engine aircraft, you have a blue dot. So your aim is to come to green arc, come to Vx speed, best angle of climb speed. This is a minimum drag speed. This will give you best climb angle. Remember, climb angle, sine theta is thrust minus drag by weight. At this speed, your drag is least. It will give you maximum climb angle. So you have to accelerate to that speed. Okay, Vx speed. Easy way to remember is angle is x. There are two speeds actually. Again, technical, we study more in that. Angle is x and rate is Vy. Okay, but here our aim is to reach best angle of climb speed, minimum drag. You come to that. In Airbus, you fly, it is called green dot speed. Come into this green speed where you can retract your flaps. Okay, this is the speed, Vx minimum climb. In a multi-engine aircraft, it is shown by either blue dot or blue radial line. You fly A320. This is green dot, but the logic is same. I will just for your make it little interesting, I will tell you what is the normal emergency briefing in A320 or Airbus category of aircraft. What kind of briefing you do? Okay, just to tell you, like when you do emergency briefing before takeoff, any malfunction before V1, I will call stop. I will stop the aircraft, bring thrust lever to idle and maximum reverse thrust. Okay, maintaining the direction, you will inform ATC and cabin crew, whatever the job you do. No other action except cancelling the caution on warning and retracting the landing gear till 400 feet. At 400 feet, you will level out, accelerate, retract flaps, green dot, MCT, or rather MCT, green dot, and continue to your whatever the MS say, like somebody said, you have to climb minimum to MSA. So that is can you correlate how these things are? And that procedure is good for any aircraft. You fly ATR, you fly Boeing, you fly A380, same procedure. No action till 400 feet, level out, accelerate at 400 feet, retract flaps. In this aircraft, it is called green dot speed. In other aircraft called blue dot speed, or whatever your Vx speed. You climb to that, then you change the part to something called MCT, which we will see. What is MCT? And now you continue climb to at least MSA. Okay, or minimum is 1500 feet, which we will see. There, your takeoff segments are completed. All these big aircraft, like when you fly Cessna or small aircraft, you do pattern for the landing, correct, at 1000 feet. Wherever you have flown in the world, you must have done pattern at 1000 feet. Means you take off, climb to 1000 feet above ground, you turn and you do your pattern for landing. All bigger aircraft, it is 1500 feet. That's why it is any aircraft you fly in the world, okay, it is 1500 feet. So coming back to this, so that is your aim, to come to this speed. Okay, other aircraft at this speed. So you will accelerate, retract flaps. So that's why it is called acceleration segment. So my first aim is to accelerate to flap retraction speed. Then you have to climb to final takeoff speed or final climb speed. MCT stands for maximum continuous thrust. Till here, you are maintaining toga or takeoff thrust, I will put it. Means you have maximum thrust in the engine which you have, that's what you are maintaining. But for any engine, you cannot maintain this kind of thrust for unlimited time, because any turbine engine, when you fly, there is exhaust gas temperature or operating temperature are very high. So you can't have full thrust, all engine roaring continuously. Most of the aircraft, it is 5 minutes. Some aircraft you'll fly, it is permitted up to 10 minutes also, but most of the aircraft minimum as per regulatory requirement is 5 minutes. You cannot. After that, you have to change over to continuous thrust, which now you can maintain unlimited. There is no problem. So that is MCT, maximum continuous thrust. Now your these three actions are taken, and this is also called your acceleration segment. All are examination question, by the way. Which is the acceleration segment? Which is the flap retraction? Okay, I told you this is the standard briefing also, whichever aircraft you'll fly. Now, once you have achieved all three, your third segment is completed. You are one engine less, you are at the speed of Vx, which gives you best angle of climb speed. Okay, means you can quickly go away from the ground, and your thrust is at MCT. Landing gear and flaps are retracted. Okay, so the moment these three actions are done, third segment is over. And now comes the final segment. The final segment starts here. Okay, and finishes at, if there is no obstacle or anything, it finishes at when the aircraft reaches height of 1500 feet minimum or MSA. If you have MSA, practically, like I told you other day when we were teaching over Delhi, if you have to minimum climb above 2600 feet, because that is MSA. Okay, and from here at 1500 feet, you have your en route segment starts. Now from here, as a pilot, you are free to take a decision now, whether you want to come back, turn around and land, or you go to your destination. You can't go. You have to go to your departure alternate. Okay. So you have alternate, en route alternate, departure alternate, destination or alternate. Many times when you take off, your takeoff minimas are lesser than the landing minima. Okay. Your minima may be okay for takeoff, but you cannot land back. Many times it happens when you have a fog contingency, or many places when you go, your weather is okay to take off, but not for landing. So what you will do? You will do with the single engine at your alternate. Okay, that's what you do. That's what it is at 1500 feet. Now you can choose. If your weather is okay, you will immediately turn downwind and you'll come for landing. If it is not, you will go to your alternate for landing. You will not go with the one engine lesser to your destination. Clear on this? So here your fourth segment is completed. Now there is a minimum gradient requirement. So here it is very stringent, because you are at a maximum takeoff thrust. Your climb gradient required is, you must have seen those who are doing test paper. In the first few papers only, this is there, the takeoff, the climb gradient requirement is 2.4%. Okay, here is exactly half. 2.4 ka half is 1.2%. That is the climb gradient required. Okay, you will see these questions. And not only for question, as a pilot, you fly any aeroplane, this is the procedure also for the single engine. Okay, the question comes, which is the acceleration segment? 3. Okay, which is the flap retraction segment? Number 3. Which is the segment which is restricted? This is CPL question. Same question for ETPL also I'm talking about. Which of the segment which is restricted by obstacle path, obstacle in takeoff path? Any guess? फर्स्ट में तो क्या कर रहे हो, कुछ भी नहीं कर रहे, ऑब्स्टेकल का, यू आर ऑन द रनवे फर्स्ट सेगमेंट में, तो व्हेन यू डू पॉजिटिव क्लाइंब यू आर ऑन द रनवे एक्चुअली स्पीकिंग. कुछ भी बोलो, पहले फर्स्ट बोलो फिर सेकंड बोलो, कहीं ना कहीं जाके तो गाड़ी रुक ही जाएगी. ओके, द लॉजिक वाइज क्लाइंब में दो ही है, दिस एंड दिस. सो द लेट्स से इफ आई हैव ए ऑब्स्टेकल हियर, are you getting 400 feet clearance? You have to go 400 feet above the obstacle. Now if the obstacle is there, what do you have to do? You have to continue, go past 400, I mean from the ground. You have to be 400 from, so you will not level out at 400 feet if you have an obstacle in takeoff path. You get it? So that segment is, and obviously if you only, even this segment is restricted by that. Let's say you have an obstacle, can you level out at 1500 feet? So actually speaking, it is the second and fourth, but you have only one option given. Normally it is for the second segment. You cannot level out at 400 feet, you have an obstacle. You need minimum 400 feet. Okay. So this is the segment which is restricted by obstacle in takeoff path. So it is the second segment. And at 1500 feet, you have fourth segment, or your takeoff segments are completed. With one engine failed, now you can do whatever you want to. Clear on this? So takeoff finishes at 35 feet, positive climb or positive rate, gear up. The moment gears are retracted, first segment is over. From there, now your aim is to continue climb to 400 feet. So when you reach at 400 feet, your second segment is completed. Now your aim is to accelerate to a flap retraction speed. Okay, the moment speed reaches flap retraction speed, you retract your flaps, accelerate to your final takeoff speed or final climb speed, and then set power to MCT. When all these three actions are completed, your third segment, that is the whole logic. Why is the third segment? Because you have to do these three work. The moment these three works are done. That's why it said green dot. Okay, the moment you reach your green dot, open climb, green dot, MCT, open climb, and then you continue. How much? It's a briefing. Green dot means the moment you get to the speed of green dot. Okay, MCT means now you come to the maximum continuous thrust. So the moment you MCT, all these three jobs are done. Now you can climb to your en route segment, wherever you have to climb. Clear on this? Any doubt on? You have a lot of questions, but this is understanding for your life. Okay, wait, I will show you a picture also. V1, can you see this? This is for Airbus, Boeing, koi bhi, any aircraft, whichever you fly in your life, is the same procedure. You have V1, engine failure, correct? Thereafter, VR, rotate. Okay, whatever. Thereafter, lift off. That's what you have studied. Positive climb, gear up. Then you do the whatever, you maintain the direction, like whatever I said, beta target or whatever those things are basically for maintaining the direction. Then you do whatever the actions you are supposed to at. What is written here at? Minimum 400 feet. At 400 feet, you are leveling out, accelerating, retract flaps. Okay, flaps to 0. You retracted your flaps, then you are coming to green dot. Okay. Whatever the altitude which you want to fly, MCT. Correct? Yeah, that is your change over to MCT. And now you will continue climbing to 1500 feet. Just to tell you what you study. There is no difference for any aircraft. The method remains same. You go sit in any aircraft, in any simulator in the world, you want to do, okay, single engine failure, fine, no problem. You need to know the speed, that's it. Engine failure, maintain direction, positive climb, gear up. 400 feet, level out, accelerate, retract flaps. Whatever speed reach, MCT, now continue climbing to 1500 feet, done. So having seen takeoff path and takeoff segment, And having compared with Airbus family, you would appreciate how important this topic is. Stay tuned for such more topics which you require to become a professional pilot. This is your Captain Surinder Singh.